In this video, I will be answering question 1. My patient was admitted acutely today and will stay admitted in hospital until their planned elective procedure. In this scenario, this patient has a planned elective procedure for 1 week's time. And to begin this process, you will need to make sure that you are in PowerChart and you are in the patient's medical record. Once you're in the patient's medical record, we're going to be navigating through to the requests and care plans, and from there you need to locate the surgical order that this elective procedure is for. Once you've located the correct surgical procedure order, we are going to be right-clicking and selecting to cancel reorder. Now what this is essentially going to do is it's going to cancel the previous gastroscopy, but it will immediately reorder a new gastroscopy. Okay, so what I'm going to do is press the cancel reorder, and you will be able to see now that it has put a strike through the previous order, and we have immediately the new order down at the bottom. All of the mandatory fields are in bold with an asterisk next to them, and we can see that it has pulled through all of the details from last time. So all we essentially need to do here is go immediately to orders for signature, which will allow us to review the action that we are about to take. So once again, we're cancelling one order and immediately reordering it. So I'm just going to sign that off. And it is now processing. So we're just going to ensure that that is refreshed so that it is fully processed. And you can see that has now been cancelled, and we immediately have the new order on. So the next steps for this, we are going to be coming in to scheduling appointment book, which I do have open already down at the bottom. If you don't have this open already, you can come to the window at the top, and on the bottom row of the grey bar, you should have an arrow pointing down, which when you select this, it will have a shortcut into scheduling appointment book from there. Once you've loaded up scheduling appointment book, the first step that we need to do is ensure that we are cancelling the elective procedure currently scheduled for a week's time. Now the best way to do this is to navigate into the appointment inquiry icon at the top of the screen, navigate into the person tab, and ensure that your inquiry is selected to standard patient inquiry. From there you can select the ellipsis icon and search for your patient. So you can search for the patient using the NHS number or the medical record number, the MRN. It will find the patient on the right hand side, and from there you can verify that you have the correct patient before you go ahead and press OK. Next is to select the date and time parameters for the appointment period that you wish to see. In my case, I'm wanting to find an elective procedure currently scheduled for a week's time. So I'm happy to keep my start date as today's date, and I'm going to leave my end date blank. So this will just search for any appointments from today into the future. As soon as I press find, it has only loaded up the one appointment, which means that this patient only has this one procedure currently scheduled. What we're going to do next is we are going to cancel this procedure. So I'm going to right click onto this and select cancel. Do we wish to send a letter? The patient is actually currently admitted in this scenario, so there's no point sending a letter to the patient, and you will need to have some mandatory fields completed in the offer tab. However, if you do forget to fill in the offer tab, the system will prompt you to take you into that tab anyway, so don't worry too much about that. Patient initiated, in this instance, no, it was the hospital that's initiated this one due to the acute admission. Reason for cancellation, we will select emergency admission. And the RTT, you can see the current RTT status just where I'm hovering over now. So this particular procedure was intended to treat this patient. So it was supposed to be a 30 if the patient came in 1 week's time. This does mean that currently the patient's RTT clock is actually still ticking, and it would remain ticking until such time as they had physically been given the procedure. So for this reason, I am going to select the 20. And remove from waiting list, we are going to be selecting no to this, as we will be officially removing the waiting list from PM Office. So I'm going to press OK to that, and that is now fully cancelled from the system. So what we need to do now is rebook this in. So what we're going to do now is we are going to navigate through to the request list and ensure that you have navigated to the Add Set Encounter and you have loaded up the appropriate request list queues where your surgical order will be sitting under. As I have requested a surgical order, it will be sitting on the main theatres list, and I can see this just down at the bottom here, and we can see today's date that we requested this. From there, what we are going to do is we are going to right click onto this and we are going to select modify. Within the modify window, this will allow us to set the encounter, and this will allow us to select the current inpatient admission, which if I scroll along, you will be able to see the reg date as today's date. So we can verify that this is 100% the correct encounter that we should be selecting. So I'm going to highlight that one and I'm going to press OK. It is also asking for the TCI location, which this patient is currently on ward 20. Selecting that and I'm going to press OK. Any inpatient preparations as well as any other further mandatory fields that needs to be completed will need to be done at this point, but I am just going to put not applicable for training purposes and press OK to that. So this patient has dropped off the add set list as I have set the encounter, which means that it has now fallen on to the to be scheduled list. So I'm going to drop it to the to be scheduled list, still remaining on theatres, and I've just pressed find, and we can see the waiting list up on the top right hand corner there. So what I'm going to do now is right click and I am going to schedule. So we've got an appointment attributes window, which is just confirming the details are all correct, which this should have pulled through from the surgical order. So this shouldn't need to be done. I'm going to press OK to that. And you can see here that it has loaded up with the appointment details. It is a work in progress. All I need to do at this stage is locate where I need to book this patient back in for and schedule it in again. Once you have scheduled and then press the confirm button, all we need to do is press OK. And that has now been fully scheduled. So we have scheduled our elective procedure against the current acute admission.
Thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions relating to any of the processes covered within this video, you can contact any member of the team on the email addresses provided. Alternatively, you can email epr.dqtraining@bthft.nhs.uk. This email account is monitored by the entire EPR training team and it is monitored daily.